there in front and don't even want to calculate the number of runs, the number of wickets, that's for another day. But you will not get a more cricketing evening than this. And I think the elder brother can do no wrong in the movies, right? And I think in this story, the elder brother can do no wrong as well. And I think as you read the book, the person who comes out really strongly, solid behind the scenes, but there at all times is Sachin Tendulkar. How many hours have both of you spent talking batting? Sachin, how many hours have the two of you spent talking batting?
Well, even after my last innings, we spent talking about how I got out and those kind of things. But, you know, over the years, we've discussed more and more, I would say. There were more and more things to talk about and various pressures, like even Rahul mentioned and all the guys, I mean, all three mentioned that playing at international level, you have a lot of pressure. You have people expecting something special from you. And for that, I needed strong support. And support was Ajit.
There was another support as well. She's wearing a little orange top. Anjali? What were you doing going after a 17-year-old?
Okay, first let me say one thing. Sachin often tells me, you know, just once I want to put you in the middle of a cricket field with, you know, thousands of people around screaming and get somebody to bowl fast at you, you know. For me, this is equivalent to that, this level of stress talking in front of everyone. And you asked me about...
17. I mean, there you are, he's a 17-year-old kid.
Okay, I didn't know he was 17 or what.
He looked 12.
I didn't even know who he was.
You didn't know who he was?
I didn't know. My friend is here, Aparna. She was with me when I went.
And she said, "Shh, Sachin."
No, she told me, "Don't you know this is the wonder boy of Indian cricket?" And you
wonder
know,
boy.
He's just scored 100, youngest Indian to score 100. I didn't care what he was, who he was. I had no interest in cricket. I saw him. I thought he was really cute.
I didn't have any interest in medicine either.
And I ran after him.
And you ran after him. Did you just say that? Did I just hear you say that?
We were, in those days at the airport, there was a viewing gallery. So I was actually looking for my mum, who was supposed to have landed from England.
Oh, you planned it that way?
No, I did.
Okay.
I just saw him and I told Aparna, who's this guy? He's so cute. And then I forgot about my mother. We ran down and I ran after him like screaming, Sachin, Sachin. Yeah, he's so cute.
You forgot about your mother. She's sitting there. Did she forget about you?
And the funny thing is, Ajit and Nitin were there with him, and Sachin was so embarrassed that this girl is, you know, running after me and screaming my name. So he was only looking down. He didn't even look at me. He like quietly looked down and got into the car.
What I find fascinating about this story, and it's mentioned in the book as you go along, that Sachin Tendulkar was a club cricketer. A lot of us are club cricketers. And having been one, I know how much you know as a club cricketer. And yet here was a club cricketer advising the world's finest batsman on how to bat. I mean,
but at that time he wasn't finest.
Even after he did, I'm fascinated by the story of the 241 in Sydney that we spoke to VVS about. It was your suggestion that he doesn't play the shot that's getting him out.
Well, the way he got out, you know, he got out in a different manner every time he went out. So there was nothing basically I could have spoken to him about the technique part of it. Because if you get out in a same fashion, then you can really say this particular fault because of which you are getting out. And secondly, I thought it was playing on his mind that the quicker the runs come, the better. And he was going for that little aggression. He is a type of batsman who, according to me, that who would first think of scoring run rather than defending the ball. He would first think of getting the run. And if the ball is too good, then only he will block it. At that time, I thought more than the technique, that strategy was to spend as much time as he can at the crease, and then slowly the runs will come. But later on, what he did of avoiding the playing shots on the offside was entirely his strategy.
He threw you a challenge, didn't he? You had a long telephone conversation before that Sydney test, and he threw you a challenge about not getting out.
I was not in the right frame of mind. I was batting really well, and something which kept getting me out was, I was going in the overdrive, and I decided that, this match I'm not going to go in that overdrive gear at all. Come what may, I'm batting 100 runs or 200 runs, whatever, I'm not going to play certain shots. And I felt Australian strategy was to bowl away from me and make me play away from the body. And that is how in Melbourne I got out. Melbourne, in the first innings I got out, first ball down the leg, got behind to Brett Lee. But in the second innings I was batting really well, and then the strategy by Australians was to bowl away, and I went for a big drive, where the ball wasn't there to be driven, but I still went for it. So I sat back, I had a nice chat with John Wright, I spoke to him for quite some time over the phone. And one thing he told me was, the bowlers are not getting you out. There hasn't been a single good ball where you can say, okay, fine, you couldn't do much about it. It's just your shot selection. So be patient, don't look at the scoreboard, just play session by session. Somebody told me I could write a book on medicine, all the injuries, because I don't think from top to bottom, some or the other part has always been injured. And it's not just with me, but I think all the sportsmen, they carry niggles, and you learn to deal with pain. And you find ways to go out there and fight, give your best. There are tough moments at time. I remember I was batting with VVS Lakshman in Mumbai against Australia when I had my tennis elbow surgery, or it was maybe before that. I don't remember exactly whether it was before or after, but I was batting in the morning, and in the first over itself, my elbow started hurting so badly. And the first 2 test matches I hadn't played. So I just prayed to God, please don't let me break down right now. After this match, I'll do whatever, but not this match. So I quickly asked for a couple of painkillers, and I bit them to pieces, thinking that, this is my medical knowledge. But thinking that, if I bit them, then my system would absorb the painkiller much faster, and I'd be pain-free or little less pain in my elbow. And then, those are the moments where you look back and you sort of, thank God for not letting me break down there, because after that I had to have a major surgery which kept me away for almost 4.5 months. But all the sportsmen go through that, and mine wasn't, I think, exceptional thing.
When your name first appeared in a newspaper, you were reprimanded. When your name first appeared in a newspaper.
Yeah, the person who reprimanded me is sitting here, Achrekar sir. I was playing my first inter-schools match, and I had scored 24 runs, and then I was told that, you score 30 runs, your name will appear in the newspaper. Wouldn't you like to see your name in the newspaper tomorrow morning? So this guy was filling up score sheets, and he said, best idea. From extras, we'll add 6 more runs in your total, which will make 30, and we'll deduct those 6 runs from extras, and we are not increasing the actual total. And I didn't know. I was hardly 11 or 12, and I said, okay, fine. If you think that is fine, then do it. So next morning, sir asked me, "Ki kai re kiti runs keles tu?" I didn't know what to answer to him, and I said, sir, 24. My score sheet and all that, how does it say 30? So that's when I told him that, sir, this guy had asked me to do it, that's why I did that. He said, if you like to see your name in the newspaper, then you do it yourself. Don't get out on 24, continue batting. It was an important lesson for me, because after that, I figured out that, if I wanted something special to happen in life, one had to work hard for it. That's what, being in that zone is. When your mind is at the striker's end and you're constantly thinking about your technique, your head balance, and your positioning, all those kind of things, 50% of the things are happening at the other end, which are more important. You are missing those things. And I felt when my mind was at the opposite end, where I was picking each and everything what the bowlers were trying to do, I felt the results were much better. And the results were not so great when my mind was stuck at the striker's end. And so is the case with any bowler, I feel. Your mind has to be at the opposite end and not worrying about your run-up or your no balls. So I felt that something which helped me throughout my career. I was not always able to do that because, sometimes even my mind was at the striker's end. Cricket is always played at its best when the minds are at the opposite ends, I felt. Yes, I was, and I precisely remember I was sitting right in front of the dressing room. I was rather positioned there because they said, "Zawal bus tikde ani bug players kashe prepare hota hai match sati," and all that. And I also remember at that time, Mr. Gavaskar had invited me to the dressing room. Still remember, I think he was in the far end of the dressing room, and I met few players. Most of the guys were outside the dressing room watching the game. But that was my first entry to the Indian dressing room as such, an unofficial entry. But I cannot forget that because, literally 2.5 years from then, I was part of the Indian team. And I was a ball boy then, and then got to pick a lot of things at that time. But just being there inside the dressing room, as we say that my collar was tight, I was a little superstitious, I could say that, because also in Ahmedabad when we were playing Australia, UV and I think Raina was batting or the MS was batting.
You forget too?
No, because I was not watching. I was, inside the dressing room and I had put my head down the massage table, and Nitin Patel was working on my back, and also Amit Shah, our masseur, was also working on my neck and all that, and Viru was sitting next to me. So Viru actually told Amit that tu time waste kar raha hai, wo so gaya already. Not realizing that I was praying. I was praying to God that, whatever the result is, you do what is best for Indian team. And I was praying, and I was awake. Every time batsman scored a boundary or took a couple of runs or a single, I knew exactly what was happening. So I continued that in the World Cup final as well. When I got out and Viru was there, I said, "Tu hilega nahi, yahan se mere saath baithega." And we continued praying. So in the last stages, Viru said, "Aji, mere ko jane do yaar, bahar thoda to dekhne raha." I said, "You are not moving. Baad mein video pe jitna dekhna hai, dekh le. Yahan se hilega nahi, last run hone tak." So unfortunately, I missed that last moment. But it was all worth waiting for.
It wasn't unfortunate. You wanted it to be like that. You didn't
yes,
let the
yes,
poor
yes,
fellow see it
but
either.
I missed that moment, watching it live while I was actually there inside the stadium. But I was praying.
Is there a
I
conversation?
did so. I actually, if you see, when I got my 100th 100, it was not more of a celebration, but I was actually asking the Almighty that why did you make me wait so long, and why did you make me go through all this, where I respected the game, I worked as hard as anyone in the team, and I was constantly on my toes. I never took anything for granted, but maybe that was one lesson in cricket which I hadn't learned. Even after scoring 99 hundreds, to get to the 100th one is not easy. You still have to go out and push yourself, and I was made to do that, but eventually it felt great.
It's a great journey. It's a great journey, ladies and gentlemen, and it's up there. Sachin Tendulkar playing it my way. I could talk to him for days and months and years like I have all my life. But congratulations. I might as well tell you that...
I would just like to thank the guys who've helped me put this book together. It's been a mega effort. It's taken us 3 years, but even more so, the last 8 months were really taxing, and I had to be focused. And along with me, the team who really pushed themselves hard was my wife Anjali, brother Ajit, Boria, Aparna, Amit, in putting the book together. That was the first innings. The second innings was to have this event, a successful event, and the way I wanted. I'd like to thank Vinod, Manoj, DNA team, and all the sponsors. Last but not the least, my cricket mates and all my friends present in this room. by you making it here this evening. I think the evening has become really, really special, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And then thank you, my friend Harsha, for being here and doing
a pleasure.
Wonderful job.
He is pretty good at thank you speeches, isn't he? I must make one final announcement, Sachin, because you stand for records in India and you keep breaking records. On pre-order, Playing It My Way is now the largest selling non-fiction pre-order book. And just needs a few more. Just needs a few more to be the largest outside of pre-order as well. You made 100 hundreds. So just added one more zero to the pre-order.
For that, the last record that you're talking about, I think for that, I think I'd like to congratulate Hachette India as well. I think they've been remarkable.
Thomas, wave your hand at us. Where are you, Thomas? Wave your hand. Well done.